Live at 5, I'm gonna cry. So we've got some issues on the way that Leader is working. We're gonna talk about it. Also the way that Iron Patriot is working, specifically on how vulnerables are applied and how they interact with passives, because we've been seeing some strange interactions in Crucible this week. So we have some clarifications to developers that I'm not in particularly thrilled with. Also, before we get into that, we have some clarification on Professor X is going to be the Dark Dimension 8 reward. And this is in contrast to my initial thoughts that this was going to be kind of like Age of Apocalypse, Age of Apocalypse. So it's going to be called the Age of X. And let's just read this. The dawning of the Age of X, Marvel Strike Force is excited to announce the upcoming arrival of one of the Marvel's universe most powerful and important characters and the next year of in-game stories, Professor Xavier and the Age of X. So I'm guessing that's what they mean by Age of X, is that thematically the year is going to be about him, kind of like how a lot of the stories last year about Mephisto. What are ages? We want to ensure that when you log into Marvel Strike Force, you're diving headfirst into the interconnected, living, breathing world of the Marvel Universe. So, for each year, we'll launch an age, a singular theme that guides all of our major character releases and events together. And so, in April 2024, we're kicking things off with the Age of X. Okay, Age of X. Professor Charles Xavier is the world's most powerful telepathic. I always want to say telepathic. I'm telepathic. Professor X is telepathic. Mutant. Founder of the X-Men and the leader of the heroic community. So where has he been since Ultimus invaded? What kept this hero from the fight? And why haven't his students and friends noticed his absence? Starting in April, players will undertake a year-long journey to answer these questions, ending with the release of Dark Dimension 8. Dark Dimension 8, where players can unlock Professor Xavier as a reward in 2025. The Age will connect all the parts of the game you already know and play. Narrative events will lead one into the next, and major character releases like our legendary characters and featured teams will be connected to Professor Xavier thematically. And I think this is going to be polarizing. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to not like it. For me, I think there's advantages and disadvantages to this. The one thing I like about Dark Dimensions for me is I like that I have some choices on who to take in, and newer players can pick better characters than when I took in to like Dark Dimension 4, and they can have an easier time, right? Because there's more agency in the Dark Dimension. And then two, the thing I like about Dark Dimension is like when I unlocked Super Scroll, it felt great. Like, and almost every day, and I love this, someone comes into my chat on Twitch and says, I was number 30,269. And it's like, it's a good feeling when you finally finish the process. Now, on the flip side, I did enjoy the year-long Apocalypse unlock. It was hard. It was intricate, but there were some parts about it I didn't like. I didn't like having to expand Blue ISO 5 on Scarlet Witch and Phantom X. And I know that as those characters get older, like I'm thinking about starting a new account, and then the thought occurred to me is like, I'm going to have to upgrade Death Seed. I don't want to upgrade Death Seed, but if I want to get Apocalypse, I'm going to have to do some hoops with teams that maybe aren't as good. So I think they're going to have to retool Apocalypse in a way they don't have to retool the Dark Dimensions, because the Dark Dimensions, you just take in better city heroes or whatever, you know, whatever you want to do. Anyways, enter the Age of X. To celebrate the debut of this age, we're launching a new 7-mission event called Enter the Age of X. When a mysterious psychic message awakens Phoenix, she and Cyclops use Danger Room technology to revisit iconic events and battles from the history of X-Men and Nexus Earth, all of which will hopefully be familiar to fans of Marvel Strike Force and the Marvel Comics. Since this is an event for players of all levels, there are no minimum requirements, yay, to participate. Each mission will provide players with a thematic team of heroes to play with, experience the story, and earn some rewards. Schools in season. we're not going to leave you without a little tease of what Professor X will be like when he finally joins the fight next year. Can't reveal anything about his abilities right now. We can say that he's designed to fit into any team, a true plug and play character. We're excited for you to experiment with combinations of characters and try to take down the other top meta teams now that you have Professor X by your side. But that's like, it feels like this is like 18 months away. That's the only thing I don't know if I like about this. And finally, here's a look at the man himself. We saw this artwork before, and they opted for option 1, and there's the 3D modeling. So I feel like this was the post on Reddit. All that hype just announced him as a reward for DD8. This takes true clownery to pull off a stunt like this. Yeah, I got no problem with the overarching story idea. I thought it worked well for Apocalypse, even if I'm in the minority, but locking a character as beloved and core to the X-Men brand as Professor X behind any dark dimension, yet alone one that the vast majority of even regularly paying players will not be able to complete for several years, is a baffling, disrespectful decision. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to take me personally several years to get Professor X, but yeah, realistically, let's say I get Mephisto 6 months from now and then Professor X a year after that. I mean, 18 months at best doesn't feel good. All right, so we've got some clarification. I did put up a video with Dulam about the new Spider Society team. They are going to improve the way that Ghost Spider works on this team. And this was from feedback from Envoys and the playtest server from Matt Sheets, who's one of the main developers over there. We've been spending time looking at Spider Society and raids. We realized that Ghost Spider was one of the problems. Like some of you pointed out yesterday, he's talking about the playtest server, and then there was a call. Her special needing to crit to apply ability block was very frustrating. We're updating her kit on her special and ultimate. Her special will always apply ability block, and it can't be blocked. And the reason why that's important is that block adds a % chance of resistance, like just 25%. If blocks and then you just have like a quarter of the time it's not going to land. It depends on their block amount, but you get that. Let's just say, to keep it simple, 25%. Her ultimate is being updated so it can't be blocked, and that was super frustrating because she spreads things with her ultimate, and then a quarter of the players, if they have deflects out there, are just not getting any negative effects. And so this is also going to be a huge improvement for the team. These changes will add more consistency to the team while going through the raids. Now, this right here is a clarification on what's going on with Iron Patriot. And I don't like this because there's a couple ramifications to this, even with the way that leader works. Iron Patriot's passive states on spawn, apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies up to a maximum of 5. This cannot be blocked or dodged. And I gotta say, I think this was Pathfinder that posted this. So big shout out to Pathfinder. Also big shout out to Bendable Straws. It also states, if this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, enemy characters with vulnerable cannot fill speed bar for themselves or allies. This does not apply speed bar gained through normal means. Also, I just want to point out that right here in Crucible, this is for leader. If this character has 2 or more Cable allies, enemies with vulnerable cannot gain safeguard. But what's happening is that 2 problems are happening, right? This raises the question, why are characters still able to gain speed bar through passive means, especially the on-spawn abilities? For example, Super Scroll, Hard Light, and others are getting their speed bar on spawn, even though they have vulnerable from Iron Patriot. The same thing here. Why is Infinity Watch getting safeguard? Right here in Crucible, if this character has 2 more Cable allies, enemies with vulnerable cannot gain safeguard. Well, look at that, they have safeguard. So this is kind of a mess. The answer, we had to decide when to place Iron Patriot's vulnerable, since passive turn on individually depending on the placement order and whether or not you're on offense or defense. It's best to have him place vulnerable after the other on-spawn passives have been triggered, because you're not dealing with character placement and worrying about offense versus defense. Because of that choice, his on-spawn vulnerable gets applied after other on-spawn actions. Thus, characters can get their speed bar from their passive. In combat, you'll see is vulnerable be placed after someone gets their on-spawn speed bar. So this also means that characters that spawn with safeguard are still gonna get safeguard. So I feel like it's kind of terrible, actually. Like, this basically negates part of the passive on Iron Patriot and part of the passive on Leader. So I don't feel like, I mean, I feel like the kit should say, other than on spawn, you know, or, you know what I mean? It just kind of feels weird because this is all going to happen after the fact. Other thing too is this is not being worked. This is not working correctly. It says right here, apply safeguard to self and all Cabal allies. This is on Leader's passive. It is coded to only do this in Crucible. So the way that it's actually working is saying in Crucible, apply safeguard to self and all Cabal allies. So that is a known issue, and they're probably going to either change the way that it works. You know, they're going to change the way that it works so that it works the way the kit states, or they might do something terrible and just change the text to read the way that it actually works. Either way, it's not right. Let's keep going. Is free-to-play even going to unlock Iron Patriot? There are 85 shards in the free-to-play milestones, 5 from free claim. At most, we'll get 2 orbs from the daily claim, which are likely to give only 1 shard each. That's 92 shards out of the 100 unlock. Low scope lady, just go up the math again. I think there's 2 ways that this could be remedied. Free claim Friday. What if it has some Iron Patriot, or they can do a calendar, or you could buy this this what character is this? Oh, wait a minute. That free to play. No, spend money. Yeah, this does not look like Iron Patriot. I mean, has anybody ever seen Iron Patriot and Black Knight in the same room? Maybe they are the same thing. No, clearly this is the wrong artwork. But anyways, let's keep going. I'm not gonna watch all of this, but holy moly. Marvel Rivals, which is going to be a console. No. PC game only. Looks like it's Overwatch with, oh my God. So this was just announced today on the main Marvel YouTube channel. You know, got millions of views in the first, or a million views in the first 9 hours. This just looks like Overwatch with Marvel. Sign me up. So I feel like this is, just an announcement trailer. I think there's a shine up sheet, and maybe for an alpha test in May. So we'll have to see when this comes out. But anyways, I'm beyond pumped for that. Also, we got right here, duplicate costumes should be converted to credits. Yes, we're getting all these extra costumes from the 6-year anniversary, and some of them are duplicates. Anyways, anyway else, Underworld by X-Men Reworks. Yeah. Super excited with the return of X-Men 97 series return, and I was excited to hear that my favorite Team X-Men were getting reworks. All my feelings have geared. Psychokinetic X-23 is a big meh. I agree. Felt like Sinister Six, Vulture, and Mysterio were much better and useful reworks across all game modes. Yes. With X-Men reworks, I'm barely finding use for them. Yes, got more mileage out of Gambit's touch-up than anything else. Whole thing feels a little half-baked. Yeah. Yep. I've gotten some small use with Phoenix in Crucible and War, but I don't know if it's been that effective. I don't know how effective it's been. Useless raid abilities and raids. Yeah, what's the point of having raid abilities if the team is just going to resist 9 times out of 10? Yeah. 2.3 million extreme X-Men team just wiped because the enemy resisted all 3 ability blocks. I'm guessing they're talking about Morgan Le Fay with defense up. Yeah, and she's got really high resistance. It's horrible. That I tried to put out in 1 round. At this point, you might as well make it all damage and leave out the other crap since it gets resistant and useless. I'm sure your coders will thank you for that at least. Yeah, it's not good. And some people are telling me they're even putting Skirmisher on Nightcrawler. That feels bad, for sure. They're talking about this. Honestly, final reward for the Dawn of Time milestone should be the tier 19 scythe for Deathpool. Yeah, and it's not. It's the piece that's used in gear tier 17. I know when we first saw this, I put out a video saying, hey, if you've got a gear tier 16 death pull, hold off, because these pieces that are the last final reward are basically not useful anywhere but other on gear 17. So like if you have a gear 16, you're going to go to 17 death pool. Anyways, I don't know. Feels bad. Lastly, I just wanted to point out 2 offers here, and then we're going to wrap up the video. This is a string offer. There's a step offer. I don't know what to really call it, but the total is $16. I did buy the first one because I'm going to convert these to, what do they call them? Silver, diamond promotion credits. The diamond promotion credits, whatever they're called. 1 million gold for $1. And right here, you get 150, dark promotion credits and 1 million gold. 500 training materials for $10. And then some of the catalysts. And then for purchasing these other 3 for $16, part of that package is, what is that? It's a diamond orb. It's not free though. It costs you $16. And then lastly, this is going to convert to 15 of those diamond silver credits, which I need if you're converting. I convert these now, but 3 Elite 7s and 1,200 training materials, which a lot of people need. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.